Hello everyone, this is Dr. Jay Mehta here, and in this video we will try and understand what are the commonest causes for having blocked fallopian tubes. Remember, whenever a couple who is infertile is under investigations, one of the most basic, commonest and the first investigations your gynecologist or a reproductive specialist is going to order for is examination of tubal patency. Now typically there are 2 or 3 ways in which tubal patency can be established. The traditional method is by doing something called as HSG or a hysterosalpingography. Slightly modern method is by doing something called as SSG or sonosalpingography. The only difference is HSG is actually an X-ray based technique and SSG is sono. So that means it is an ultrasound based technique. That's the only difference practically. Both these tests are typically performed in the early half of the reproductive menstrual cycle. That means on either day 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 of the menstrual cycle. Now typically women who are going to undergo this HSG test are very anxious. They are very scared as well because commonly their friends who have undergone this test have told them that it is a very painful procedure. It is important to remember that though this procedure is slightly painful, majority of the women do not experience severe pain while doing this procedure. The reason why I am specifying this point here is quite a lot of times when the lady undergoes the test for HSG or SSG, she's so nervous, she's so scared that nervousness itself causes cornual spasm. That means it gives a false report that the tubes are blocked, and that is one of the most important causes of having a tubal block. That means the lady is scared and she's undergone a cornual spasm which has given rise to a tubal block. Both these procedures are very standardized. In HSG, a dye is passed through the uterus and the dye spills out from the fallopian tubes. In sonography or SSG, either betadine or saline is passed through the uterus which spills out through the fallopian tubes. If there is good free peritoneal spill, it is believed that the fallopian tubes are patent. That means they are open. The second most common cause of having blocked fallopian tubes in our country are infective causes. Now whenever we mention infection, the most common infection which comes to anyone's mind is it tuberculosis of the pelvis which has caused this? Yes, that is one of the most important causes, but it's also important to understand that apart from that, there could be a lot of asymptomatic genital infections. These are those infections which affect the external or the internal genitalia of the lady. They never cause any symptoms. There will be no fever, no vomiting, no admission needed to the hospital because they are asymptomatic. That means they don't cause any symptoms, but due to the sheer nature of being infective, they cause blockage of the fallopian tubes. That is a very common cause to understand of having a blocked fallopian tube in our country. The third most common cause is having a previous ectopic pregnancy. Now typically a pregnancy which does not occur in the uterus is out of location, and an out of location pregnancy is called as an ectopic pregnancy. The most common location for an ectopic is to be inside the fallopian tube, and that is the other common cause for having a blocked fallopian tube. Now it is very important to remember that usually the fallopian tube which is blocked due to spasm. Remember I mentioned that when a lady is scared, it undergoes spasm. It's usually going to be bilateral. That means both sided, and it is going to be proximal, which is called as cornual block. The fallopian tubes which usually get blocked due to infective causes will be either mid-tubal or will be distal. That is a very important way of differentiating on how easy these blocks are going to be for treatment. Remember, the blocks which are usually distal, mid-tubal and associated with hydrosalpinx are going to be those blocks which are very difficult to treat. Proximal fallopian tube blocks, unilateral blocks, that means one-sided blocks, or cornual blocks, which are bilateral predominantly due to spasm, are going to be things which are going to be more easier to treat. And lastly, before I conclude, I think it's very important to understand quite a lot of times women think, especially when they go for a consulting, the doctor, if we do surgery or if we take medicines, that means the tubes will be open. And once the tubes are open, it's going to guarantee a pregnancy. Remember, there is a big difference in between having open tubes and having functional tubes. That's a very, very important difference. It's not mandatory that a tube which is open is definitely going to be functional. As a result of this, women who have blocked fallopian tubes should discuss the treatment plan very seriously with their doctors and have realistic ambitions after doing any form of treatment for opening tubal blocks. See, this is a very basic treatment and it arises a lot of anxiety in the couple. Should there be questions, you can feel free to post them in the comments box. Me or one of my colleagues will try to answer your questions as soon as time permits. Thank you so much for listening to this video.